So I asked key leaders and participants at Code for America Summit, what recommendations would you make to the Fiscal Control Board and the incoming Puerto Rico government? Let's see what they had to say.
I'd like to start with a quote from the physicist Freeman Dyson. He once wrote, "How we fight is as important as what we fight." The first thing you have to do is bring a problem-solving attitude. You have to understand, what are you trying to accomplish? What are the levers for improving the economic life in Puerto Rico?
I was the minister responsible in the British government for setting up GDS and for the efficiency program, which saved the British taxpayer about $75 billion over 5 years. So we're at an incredibly lucky time. You can now get stuff done much better for a fraction of the cost of the way things are being done in the legacy. Well, you need a digital service. You need some guys who know what they're talking about.
Build in-house capacity. Don't just go out and hire a lot of big technology vendors that want to take millions of dollars to build big enterprise systems. Build a smart team, build it in-house. Bring those people in and give them the power to take new modes to do technology implementation inside of government. Let them use Agile. Let them hire people who aren't the traditional IT vendors.
I think you're going to have to continue to manage any of your legacy systems, but as you either do new IT procurement or you add on to your legacy systems, you really need to think of it as an agile process, procurement process, as opposed to the monolithic process that we all have used to many failures.
Oh, I have a great recommendation for the Fiscal Control Board. You must have digital service experts as part of your board. You must follow the example that the White House has set by bringing top talent from the tech industry in to help you solve your problems.
Digital today is really a discovery process, a scientific process. There's a reason why they talk about data science. It's about actually using data to help discover and think through what the opportunities are.
So my recommendation is to really understand and take a look at your data. Data is an important digital asset, and you need to understand what data do you have in the organization as well as outside of it, how you want to use it, how it's currently being used, and what are the deficiencies in the data. If you can understand that and you can use data to make policy decisions and recommendations, you're going to have a very solid basis for baselining where it is that you started and seeing whether the changes that you're making really are making a difference or whether you just think that they're. I'm strong on the data engineering side, which means moving data around. 1/3 of my team is focused on data visualization, which means making data digestible and accessible to the average decision maker. And I have a data scientist focused on our team, which, I mean, this guy can tell the future because you're building predictive models that can estimate what will happen based on past events.
I would just say to Puerto Rico and the Fiscal Board and the administration, they have to think about the fact that in the 21st century, the policy doesn't work unless the technology works. So healthcare.gov, obvious example. When the technology didn't work, the policy didn't work. People didn't get the healthcare that they were supposed to get. But when it was fixed in really a matter of weeks, just using new approaches and new ideas, suddenly millions of people, over 20 million people now, have gotten access to healthcare, quality healthcare, through the Affordable Care Act.
I'm not sure that we know yet what are the right answers for Puerto Rico, but I do know that that right answer will involve a kind of digital discovery, figuring out what are the industries of the future. Puerto Rico could be the laboratory for America for next generation infrastructure.
These guys and the board in particular have a huge responsibility for thinking about how we can use using digital to radically rethink and lower the cost of delivery while radically improving it. And if their only mindset is how do we lower costs, what they're probably going to do is be like, oh, let's just scale back default ways of doing things that have maybe been 50% successful, rather than like, how do we actually go and gamble on something that we think has the possibility of being radically better at a radically lower cost.